Today's episode is personal, and if you've ever felt overlooked, underestimated, or like you didn't get the recognition you thought you deserved, this one is for you. Because I want to tell you a story about the award I never won, and why I'm grateful I didn't.
Lady bosses, are you working even after putting the kids to bed but still not getting results?
Are you tired of spending money on ads that aren't getting engagement?
Do you feel burdened that you aren't fulfilling your purpose in life because you are so consumed with work?
I'm your host, Brooke Bolts. I'm an attorney and founder of Bolts Legal. I started my business and in 1 year was bringing in 7 figures and am now bringing in multi-7 figures.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel Bolts, owner of Bolts Media. I've helped many businesses build their online presence and increase their revenue through digital marketing.
Want to hear how we did it?
We are here to help you achieve your goals personally, professionally, and spiritually.
So kick off your high heels, sit back, and let's ignite that passion.
We're Miss Biz, where we're putting the Miss in biz.
Let's get biz done. In high school, the moment I walked into that big atrium as an incoming freshman and I saw the photos of former students on the wall, I made it my mission and goal to have my picture there someday. And I did everything to try to make that happen. I was in the band. I was in the International Baccalaureate program. I was a cheerleader. I was on the weightlifting team. I was in the National Honor Society. I was in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes.
Jeez.
I was seriously in every organization that I could manage to join. And that was my goal, both to have my picture on the wall someday, but also I really wanted to earn a scholarship for college. And when graduation came and we had the award ceremony evening and they called out the names of the people who got their picture on the wall, I was not one of them. So when I got to college, I didn't even try. I made zero effort to try to be recognized in any way. And law school was the same. I just came to accept that I would always be maybe in the top 25%, but never the standout worthy of receiving an award. Never that top 5 or 10%. So fast forward more than 20 years. Someone reached out to me recently on Facebook. She's actually friends of my parents, but she is on a chess team with a student that I went to high school with. Somehow, my name came up in their conversation, and the student who I knew, he told her that he remembered a paper I wrote in high school defending Jesus. And he said it was the best defense he'd ever heard, and he still remembers it to this day.
That's impactful. Now, how long ago was that?
I graduated from high school in 1998, so that was 28 years ago that I graduated.
Yeah.
So
that's huge.
Long time.
Yeah, almost 30 years later, he still remembers one speech that you made. Like, I don't remember anything from like 30 years ago, you know?
Yeah. I don't remember any speeches that other students gave. I don't remember any assignments. I actually didn't even remember the speech that he said that I gave. I don't remember it at all. But that's when it hit me that the awards that I was aiming for were not the impact. I don't remember that paper, but even without remembering it, I can tell you 2 things. First, I probably got a B- on it because the courses I was in were extremely challenging, and I never got, I won't say never, I rarely got A's. And second, given that the topic was Jesus, my dad was actually the brilliant mind behind that paper. He always would help me with coming up with papers, especially when it was something faith related. But even though he was the mastermind, I was the willing student, and I was willing to turn it in and read it in front of my high school classmates. So after Daylan told me this, that's the friend of my parents who contacted me, I remembered after she told me this, it reminded me that my high school reunion was a few years ago, and another couple of students came up to me and told me that they remembered a different speech that I had given in a high school class. And again, I didn't remember that speech either, but the fact that they remembered that speech was another affirmation to me that even though I wasn't getting awards and getting my picture on the wall, that I did make a difference inside of my high school. So let's bring this back to business, because we live in a culture that is obsessed with recognition. The top 40 under 40, best of, most influential, highest revenue, biggest following, most downloads. We measure everything. And those aren't bad things, but they're not the full story. You can win awards and still not be remembered.
True.
You can have a big following and not impact anyone's life. You can have likes and not have legacy. And the reverse is also true. You can build something meaningful that doesn't always get public recognition. You can show up consistently without being flashy. And you can impact people in ways you may never fully see.
We are looking for young people.
That's creepy.
Not like that. We're looking for young, inspiring entrepreneurs or professionals.
They must be located in the Orlando area because we want to give them the chance to be on Miss Biz.
We are looking for 3 inspiring young professionals under the age of 30 that we can interview on the Biz Podcast.
So don't hide your kids or your wife. Nominate them today. Comment the word young professionals and we'll send you the nomination form. Let's get biz done.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that you have 2 people now that remember speeches that you made about 20 years ago, and you don't remember it at all. And I mean, how often do we as humans, as business owners and professionals, how often do we let those experiences influence our future? I mean, the fact that, and I think we kind of do it as a way of self-preservation, where we're protecting ourselves from getting hurt. But in the same respect, when we tell ourselves, well, I'm never going to be this or I'm never going to be that, it's a self-limiting belief that we carry with us, which indirectly influences our decisions and our choices.
Right. And, frankly, my focus was on the wrong things. If I would have been focused on making an impact in my school, then I would have felt fulfilled more than I did. Instead, I felt like a failure because I didn't achieve the goal that I set for myself. So it's about shifting your focus to the things that you can control as well, because I don't have any control whether someone recognizes me with an award. But I do have control over how I spend my time and how I treat people.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a lot of entrepreneurs forget that you don't always know who is watching. You know, listening to the podcast quietly, reading your posts but never commenting, watching how you handle adversity, learning from how you lead. I mean, all of those things people watch from afar, and I don't think we really truly see the impact that we make unless somebody brings it to our attention.
Right. Well, that's the other thing. If those people hadn't told me that they remembered it, I never would have known. So I was just really blessed that they came and let me know, because it really did validate me in feeling like I had an impact and made a difference in my high school years whereas otherwise I just felt like I was another student that nobody remembered. Mm-hmm. So the same is true for your business. You may not realize that what you're doing is impactful on people, but all it takes is that one client call, that one encouraging email, that one extra 5 minutes you gave someone. You might forget all about it, but they won't.
Exactly. So we talk a lot on Miss Biz about consistency. Consistency builds confidence, it builds revenue, and it also builds visibility. But it also builds memory, and it builds reputation, equality, or equity, and it also builds relationship capital. And here's the truth. Referrals years later matter more than trophies do today. Reputation compounds, character compounds, impact compounds, and awards fade.
So let's think about reframing our mindset. So maybe you're building something deeper. Maybe you're building something that won't peak right now, but will echo for decades. So that award I didn't win, it forced me to build intrinsic motivation. It forced me to define success differently. It forced me to show up because I believe in impact, not because I'm just chasing validation. And that mindset has served me far more in entrepreneurship than a trophy could.
The thing that we have to remember too as Christians is that God is always working in the background on our behalf, and we have to truly have trust in Him and faith that His will is going to be done. And I remember when I was a teacher, I would get very frustrated. If you've ever been a teacher, you know you're not paid very well. There's not much in terms of recognition, especially where I worked. It was very niche, not a lot of employees, not like a huge public school system. And I used to remind myself that my rewards are not of this earth. I know that the Lord knows my heart. He knows what I'm doing when nobody is watching. And I truly believe that He's in control and He's working everything on my behalf. And there was one specific situation. It didn't necessarily have to do with an award, but it had to do with a promotion that I really, really wanted. And I applied for this position, and there was only one other person that applied for it. And I had more experience with the company. I had a bachelor's degree. The other girl didn't have any degree, just her high school diploma. I had actually performed the job for the person that was retiring. I covered for her for like a month and a half while she was out. So I knew how to do the job already. And I was just very well qualified. But I did not have lunch with the HR director and their little clique. So, I really thought I was like a shoo-in for this position. I wanted it. It was more pay and a little bit less headache, very systematic, process-oriented type of job. And I thought I was in, and they ended up choosing the other girl, which, I like her a lot as a person, but when they chose her, I was very disappointed. Very, very disappointed, because I was struggling at that time with providing for my family, and it would have really, really helped me out. But what ended up happening is it ended up turning into a big blessing in disguise. The job was terrible. The girl that got the job, she actually ended up quitting like a few months later because her boss was just not treating her well. There weren't realistic expectations, and she ended up leaving. And I ended up getting a job teaching the blind vendors, which was an even better position. It paid even more. And I got to work with less students, but being able to make a deeper impact, and that I would help them be able to go through training and have unlimited earning potential depending on what type of business that they chose to run. So had I gotten that other position, I may not have had that opportunity for the position that God knew that I really needed and that would become available. So it can be very, very frustrating when we don't get what we want or what we feel that we deserve. But we just have to trust God and that He knows the future. He knows what's best for us. And if it's meant to be, it'll be.
Yes. That there are just, if we sit and think about our lives, I bet everyone listening can think of times where something didn't work out how they wanted it to in the minute or at the moment, and they later realized that that was the best for them in the long run.
Do you love the Miss Biz podcast?
Because we love you.
Here's 3 things you can do to show your support.
1, write us a review. Apple, Spotify, and Google My Business are the best platforms to write a review.
2, follow us on social media. Our handle is at Miss Biz Podcast.
3, join our Facebook group, Miss Biz Nation, for exclusive content and behind-the-scenes footage. Also, ask questions related to your business and discuss topics from our episodes.
So, would you rather win Business Owner of the Year or have someone tell you in 20 years that your leadership changed their life?
Definitely the second option.
And we put this poll on Miss Biz Nation just to see what most people would say. And just like you said, most people said option B, which was have someone tell you 20 years from now that your leadership changed their life. But there were a number of people who said they'd rather win the award. And their reasoning, I couldn't argue with. They said they already know that they are making a difference in people's lives. They don't necessarily need to hear that, but by winning the award, that can help them to gain more visibility to make an impact in even more people's lives.
Yeah. No, it was a very interesting perspective because I didn't really see it that way until our members or our listeners brought it up.
So if your answer was B, if your answer was have someone tell you 20 years from now that you made an impact, then ask yourself, are you operating that way? Are you operating like as if that's your goal, or are you operating as if you're trying to get Business Leader of the Year right now? Because for most of us, it is a marathon and not a sprint. And so...
Yeah, darn Skippy, man. Guilty as charged, man. You know, you wake up and you just kind of just go into full robot mode.
Yeah, this is what I gotta done. This is what I gotta do now. This is what I gotta do today, and focused on that immediate gratification as opposed to the long-term impact. So, but this story isn't over, because in the last couple of years, for the first time in my life, I've started to win some awards. Just local ones, nothing major, national.
Good awards, man. You won the Golden Gavel Award, which was huge, and like your field is very competitive.
Sure, it is. I'm not. I am over the moon ecstatic. Probably one that meant the most to me was a local one from the Oviedo Chamber of Commerce, and it was the Excellence and Influence. No, yeah, I think that's right. Excellence and Inspiration. That's it. Excellence and Inspiration Award, and it was open to all different types of businesses. So there was, and it was individuals who won the award, not businesses. So there was probably over 50 different business owners in that category, and I was just really surprised and really honored to receive that award. But the point is that if you just focus on impact as opposed to the award, that eventually people will start to notice your impact in a bigger way that will then be deserving of an award. So, just to encourage you, here's some of the awards that I've won recently. Best Professional Service, I mentioned the excellence and inspiration, the best woman-owned business, the Golden Gavel Award, which is from the National Trial Attorneys, top 3 personal injury law firm by Orlando's Best. And so just go ahead and give up on trying to earn awards and just focus on making an impact. And if you do that over and over again for 20, almost 30 years, the awards will eventually come. And maybe it won't take that long for you. That's how long it took for me, but maybe it won't take that long for you, or maybe the awards may never come. But again, the award never came for me in high school, but the fulfillment that I received of knowing that those students remember something I said and that it helped them or had an impact on them in their lives means even more.
Absolutely. So tonight at dinner, make sure that you ask your kids or your husband, your wife, or your team this question. What kind of legacy do you want to leave? Start the conversation now and make sure that you don't wait 20 years.
So I'm grateful I didn't win that award, because it taught me that influence doesn't always come with the spotlight. And it reminded me that success often shows up long after the moment passes. So keep showing up, keep leading, and even when you feel unseen, you never know who's listening. You never know whose life you're shaping. So if you know a business owner who feels overlooked right now, please share this episode.
Because sometimes the only thing someone needs is a reminder that impact doesn't always come with applause.
We appreciate you and are honored to be on this journey with you. We can't wait to help you, to encourage you, and show you how to grow personally, professionally, and spiritually.
If you found Miss Biz helpful, please leave a review and share with others.
You can follow us on social media at Miss Biz Podcast.
For legal questions or services, please visit boltslegal.com.
And for digital marketing needs, please visit boltsmedia.com. Let's get biz done.